So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome my badass panel girls and Emily Vavra, Stefania Logato, Sarah Zalaki, Stormy Wellington, Jessie Lee Ward, and Lawrence Slocum Lahov. So these are my Charlie Angels. So, ladies, this is such a fun event and such an amazing opportunity for me to have all of you speak here. I'm just gonna move here a little bit. So, you know, all of you are badass women, and all of you had, different experiences in life. And, right now, yes, you're a badass, but I'm pretty sure it didn't start there. So, what was getting in the way of your success before you became a badass, and how you overcame it? And I guess they want me to move that back. I'll do that. I just wanted a little extra attention. So, Emily, just let's go with you.
For me, in the beginning, when I really looked at the law of my environment, my associations, I was the motivated girl in my friend group. I didn't have other people that were 10 steps ahead of me. I was the one that was always driven. I did fitness shows, things like that. And so when I first got involved in the profession, what I recognized, Marina, is that I had a lot of limiting beliefs around money. I was raised by a single mom. I was told money doesn't grow on trees. I had hand-me-down clothes. We never went on trips. And so when this profession was presented to me and you can have unlimited possibilities and unlimited wealth, I was like, that sounds great and it's exciting, but I really didn't believe it. I really didn't believe it until I got immersed in the culture and really cannonballed into the pool. And I cut off associations where people were playing small because my future meant more to me. And so just being around people that thought bigger and then doing the work, the hard work, the affirmations at night, the conversations around money. I would check in with my mentor. I would pay money and be involved in programs that would help me level up. And I had to go through all that hard work to be the woman I am today. And, those are just a few things, but I'd say total immersion is one of the keys to my success. And if somebody wasn't on the same wavelength, I didn't want to spend a lot of extra time with them because that was going to cost me years and it would also cost me impact.
Yeah, I love it. And Sarah, what about you?
So I think for me, I was 21 years old. I was a nanny. I wasn't educated. I think for me, I wanted to do something big, but I couldn't see the vision. And I think for so long, I saw other people's vision, and so I bought into that. And so I struggled for a long time because I didn't have my own. And so when I finally made a decision, like, I need to do me, I need to do me. I need to be willing to show up as me. I need to be willing to actually do the work. Like I said, I was doing the work, but I wasn't willing to really do the work. And, my first 5 years, I definitely was not a badass. It took me 5 years to recruit one person in my business, but I just kept going and I just kept going and I just kept going. And I got caught up in the tactics of my business. I couldn't figure out, I knew all the skills. I knew how to invite. I knew how to do all those things, but I still, why wasn't I having a breakthrough? And the reality was I wasn't having a breakthrough because I wasn't willing to be vulnerable enough to step in as me and know, Sarah, you're good enough as you. If you just showed up as you, that's all it's been missing for 5 years. People like you and how you are. And the way that I found that out though was just like what Emily talked about is that immersion into something, right? And you've got to be able to be in that environment, kind of that incubator that can pull out the best in you. And so, I mean, that's why I'm grateful for you and for Eric, because you've created this incubator for people they can plug in, and it just like it grows them 10 times, you know. I'm an example of that. So I think it's just learning how for me to I just was willing to step in.
Yeah, I think it's so important because like we all think it's like, oh, we just gonna throw up the facts about our products, all the ingredients and all the data, and look at this and look at those numbers. People don't buy that. First of all, they will not remember. Some of those ingredients don't make any sense to them. And especially if they're trying to pretend it's like, oh, look at this. This is like whatever, very fancy ingredient, or it's not necessary, should be in the product while they're drinking a Diet Coke or whatever, you know. So they need to understand, and we all need to remember that people do not buy companies, people do not join companies, people do not join the products, people join people. So you need to first of all be the person that they want to do business, people of a person they like and trust to do business with. So really great insight. Stefania, what about you?
For me, it was definitely, I didn't believe in myself. I was married together 23 years, married 14 years to a narcissist who told me, you're worth nothing, you're not even a good mom, you don't need to work because I will provide, so he could keep me in the cage. And so when I started this profession, I didn't have credibility because people told me, Stefania, before you used your daddy's credit card, then you used your husband's credit card, now you come and tell me how to make money when you never made money in your life, you're just a mom. And they were laughing at me when they told me, I said it yesterday, they said to me, you lost your home, you lost your car, you lost your husband, and now you lost your head. Wake up, darling, this is never gonna work out. So for me, it was, people were pushing me down, and for a long time I believed it, and I cried myself to sleep, and I felt sorry for myself. But then it got to a point that one day I thought, okay, if I keep on going this way, nothing is going to change for me and my kids. And then two people told me I should open an Instagram account, and I'm like, what is Instagram? And I go and check those pictures, and I see this picture of a little kitten watching in the mirror and sees a lion. And I'm like, my name is Stefania the cat. Everybody thinks I'm a kitten, but I'm gonna be the lioness for my kids. My husband is not giving me any money for my children, but it's the lioness who goes out and hunts, not the lion. Wow. So I'm gonna be the provider of this family. And I made that click, and by faith and by coming to GoPro Recruiting Mastery, and everybody knows that, I was making $2,000 a month, sitting in the back, and I see all these 7-figure earners women, and Marina talking, and Eric, and I'm like, okay, if in the United States they make $1 million a year, I can make 100,000 in Europe. Because, I thought America is ahead. And then, bang, I go back and I bring all the knowledge and I bring the inspiration and the belief, and everything changed.
Wow. I mean, it's like we underestimate the power of belief and the power of, being surrounded with so many amazing people who can help you see the bigger vision, who can help you believe in yourself, and who can actually support you on the journey. So I think that profession is very blessed that you saw that opportunity however many years ago now. So Jessie Lee, what about you?
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jessie Lee. Thanks to Europe and Australia, the Kiwis out in New Zealand, I know it is late, so good on you, mates, all right? So I'll just say, you don't know what you don't know. You literally don't know what you don't know. And so I grew up in poverty. So for me, struggle was what I knew. The idea of making 6 figures a year, I'm like, oh, come on. Like, that is wealthy. Like, that's ridiculous. And so when I found the network marketing profession and kind of even just dipped my toe in and I said, oh, I'm successful because I'm making 6 figures, I started exposing myself to people like this. And it wasn't like they would hang out with me. I was just, watching them on the internet and like, oh, I'm gonna stalk you kind of a thing. Then I go to your event and Eric does his little stand up if you're making blah, blah, blah. And everyone's standing up. Okay, not everyone, but it really felt like it. Felt like everyone was standing up at $1 million a year. And I'm like, oh, that is ridiculous. Either all these people are lying, or not like a lion over here, like liars, Liza Minnelli's all over the world, I swear, or I gotta get it together. But I didn't know. I didn't know it was possible. My mindset was set at $100,000 a year is it. That's wealth. And then I just exposed myself slowly but surely. I started learning more. I started getting educated, period. I didn't know how to sell, so I bought a book. You know, that's a lie. I didn't buy a book. I went to the library and I have money. And I checked the book out. And I didn't know how to recruit, so I bought a book. And I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. But the resources were there. I had to change this. But then as soon as I started to know what was possible, I'm like, that's it. Because if some of you are out there and you haven't set the GPS on your life where you want to go. And I don't know about y'all, but I would not get in an Uber with somebody who does not say my name and knows where he's taking me. I mean, you do you, baby, but I'm not getting where, you would never get in an Uber and say, I don't know, take me where you feel like taking me. No, I know exactly where I want to go, right? Well, that's where I have to treat your business. So hopefully this weekend inspires you and shows you like, if this girl can make $1 million a month, why can I not make $1 million a month? I'm gonna make $1 million a month and then go get after it.
I love it. So, Stormy, what about you? Because, like, I know you've been crushing all the records, and you told the story of your upbringing today, and you were not that badass right from the beginning. So, what impacted your life, and what happened and contributed to your success?
You know, my whole life I had to fight. You know, my mom was gonna have an abortion with me before I was even born, and so it's like I felt like I came up in a struggle, and I was tired of struggling. I was tired of telling my kids no. Of course, I, like everybody here, I had very, very limited beliefs. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade. I didn't even make it to summer, so technically the 8th grade. I had my first child when I was 16, so you know I had to go the non-traditional route. I had to read the books. Nobody told me to read Think and Grow Rich, but that was the very first book I read. And I realized that, wait a minute, I may have not graduated, but I can still think and grow rich. And so, of course, my family thought I was stupid. My mom was the woman who, or the person, shall I say, that I got into network marketing to be able to take care of, because I had a job making $13 an hour. I collected over $1 million in closed accounts. And one day my boss says, my God, great performance. You did a great job. You crushed the records. We're going to give you a raise. And that raise was 25 cents. And that was my defining moment. I realized in that moment that I was no longer going to let anybody put limitations on my life. And I remember putting myself in the right environments. I've started to believe in myself, but it was after I invested in myself. Like you, I read the books. I started to speak the affirmations. I didn't believe in affirmations, but I paid like money to go to little conferences. I will always go to little conferences with people that knew more than me, because I did not have people in my circle that could take me to where I wanted to go. And so after I started to go to the events, be around people, I came to the most powerful women in network marketing. I would go to all of my company events. I would never miss any event that I qualified to attend. And I would look at the people and say, man, she's not better than me. I would say, no way that she's making, you know, $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month. I can do it too. If she could do it, I can do it too. And so I started to listen and learn, and I immediately started to implement the things that I learned. And almost like magic, it's like, wow, I didn't know this day was coming. And I made my first $1 million my first year in network marketing, because I went to the events, I became coachable, I became teachable. I was a sponge. I made sure that I would go to every event because I wanted to learn. I did not know what to do, so I had to go and figure it out.
Yeah, I love it. Lauren, what about you? You've been around
I've forgotten the
personal
question now.
development. Yeah, what contributed to, because like you are badass and you have this brand Badass and Beautiful, but you were not a badass from day one. So
No.
what contributed for you to developing this badass woman?
You know, thank you, Marina, first of all, for this amazing event and these amazing friendships that have been created, especially through the mastermind. I just want to thank you so much, you and Eric. You know, I had a defining moment when I was a little girl, and my grandmother, I was going to do the walkathon. Anybody remember the walkathon? And my grandmother goes, what's an itty bitty little girl? How are you going to do the walkathon? And just out of my mouth, I just said, one step at a time. And I didn't realize like what that meant and how profound that was going to impact my life. And I've always kind of been a rebel. I have always, as you can tell. But I think that what it was also, you know, I was like, I wasn't like the smartest girl in school. I was just very average with regards to everything. And I was like, I want to get a scholarship for my parents because my parents worked so hard, for me to be able to do the things I want to do. And I was like, I'm going to apply for the Army ROTC scholarship. And everybody was like, whatever, Lauren. So my whole life, I've had this kind of thing like, yeah, people go, yeah, whatever, you're going to go do that. But the biggest thing I will tell you, is once again, just like you, you gotta lead yourself and you've got to invest in yourself. Where they say you can't have $1 million lifestyle on $1, Happy Meals. You have to invest. That is what this is all about. If you're not going to invest, if you're not going to invest in you, and what do we say? Shouldn't we say, where's the first place the heart delivers blood to? To self. You can't give what you don't have, right? So you got to go clean up your own backyard before you clean up the community. So that's why when we talk about that stinking thinking, but the biggest thing for me with regards to this business, and when I was listening to you, was I couldn't believe somebody really wanted me to be successful. Like when the person that introduced this profession to me, I was like, the thing that I could do to make them most proud is for me to do really, really great. Like that would make them happier. You heard it today from a couple people. And but for me, once again, is like remembering who I am. Remembering, like you said, that people, they want, they go, what do you got? Give it to me. But I showed up in the state of, I need to be an example out there for people, no matter what. And they're watching. If you think your kids aren't watching, you are wrong. They're watching what you're reading. They're watching what you're listening to. They're seeing what do you have on in the car? Do you have a podcast on? What's that book? They look beside your bed. They say, are you investing in you? And so that's for me, and is the biggest thing that I would share. So
Yeah, I love it. It's so important. Everything changed for me when I realized that I am my biggest asset. When I realized that I need to grow this business in order for me to have bigger impact, in order for me to have, opportunities and become more influential so people even listen to me, So it took for me to, of course, it didn't start with a lot of money. It started whatever I could afford at that time. But again, you need to remember your investment in you should match with your goals. If you have large goals, if you have $1 million goals, you cannot be investing $1. It's just not going to work. It's just not how things work. And I know a lot of people, and some of, I said from the beginning that this event, I wanted to make it special because I wanted to talk about that invisible gap that exists, right? We all know what we should be doing. And a lot of people think that, tactics are very, very important in our profession. And for some people, they feel like this is the most important part of our profession is just give me the skills, give me the tactics. Tell me how to recruit 5 people. Tell me how to coach them. Tell me how to lead them. But talk about the importance of the mindset and the inner game. So Emily, because I know you grew a lot since the day I met you.
The mindset is absolutely everything. You cannot lead others until you lead yourself. And we put limits on ourselves. I'm still breaking through my own limits. It will never, ever, ever stop. And a lot of times we know what to do. Okay, I need to talk to this many people. I need to recruit to get to this top rank. But it's your mind that's holding you back. It's those limiting beliefs. It's an old paradigm you have. It's the way you were raised and your old programming and things like that. And so I go to work on myself more than I work on my actual business. And the time that I spend, and you'll learn all this when you're involved in the program, it's these little millimeter shifts that you make in your day that change you as a woman, that change you as a man. It's what I do in the morning during my morning routine. It's sacred to me. Everybody knows if you text her in the morning, she's not going to get back to you because she's doing her visualization, her affirmations, and she's talking to God.
Yeah.
And Marina, that's my secret. Because when I guard myself and my focus and I really go to work on my mindset, that is what's allowed me to keep busting through all these plateaus that we all have. Because when you go in, you realize there is unlimited power in all of us. It's society that teaches us otherwise.
Yep.
And every single one of us, we're involved in one of the greatest professions in the world, where any ordinary person can live an extraordinary life, but we're still a little different. we're still a little different, even though all these people are extremely successful. And some of you watching and you're on your way there, you're still a unicorn. You're still going to go to your offices where they're like, are you really doing that? Are you sure? Okay. Listen, that's society is taught to be. I don't need to go in the whole sheep and lion thing, but if you want me to, I will. Okay. So you're going out there and you're the vessel, you're the light. And our mind tricks us every single day and keeps telling us to play small. Don't be too bright. What are you thinking? And it's us against, I believe, society. And I believe it's my purpose on this earth to keep working on my mindset so I can serve other people. And if you find anyone great in this whole circle and anyone you've heard from all weekend long, they've gone to work on themselves. They work more on themselves so they can create the change they so desire to see. And that is what's required. And it's not always sexy. And I don't want to get up early all the time and do it. And there's days where I fight with myself, big time, crying moments, limiting belief moments. But when you go to work, that's where the breakthrough happens. But if you're not willing to ever go there, you're never going to have the life that we have.
Yeah. So, Sarah, yeah, it's a mic drop. It's like all of you guys are saying, it's a mic drop after every one of you. So, Sarah, what about you? What do you?
So I think the inner game, I think for me, you know what? I was never willing to give up on myself. I just was like, I'm going to fight and I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to get scrappy and I'm going to get resourceful. And I think for me, it was the consistency of just one foot in front of the other. And it was also about doing things even when I didn't want to do them. And that was a big thing. I think people think that, everything, like I love network marketing, but there's pieces that I'm not in love with, but I still do it because I know that it's part of the deal and and it's part of the process, right? So I think for us, it's just, understanding, like I know for me, for a long time, the challenge that I had was comparing. I mean, it just ate me alive all the time. And I knew what to do, but I always was a second guesser. I always second guess myself in everything. And even though I would learn the skills and I would do that, I would be like, well, sir, I don't know. Can you really do that? Like, is that something? And so there were so many times in my life that I would take 2 steps forward and I would take 5 steps back. And it was exhausting, like that energy that I was constantly having to put out there versus if I would have never done that and said, sir, like, again, it goes back to the walking in as me. And really understanding that piece. I think so many people think that they have to be somebody like I would try to emanate everybody else except emanating me. Right? And that inner thing that's a huge thing that so many of us have to go through. But understanding, I tell people, like, it doesn't matter when you get there, it just matters that you get there. So every single one of us is different. Like Stormy talks about, made $1 million her first year. I was like, oh my God, I think I made 5 nickels my first year, but it's okay. I don't compare myself with her, and we're friends and it's awesome, right? And I think that's a thing is, I think for all of us, it's understanding, like, this is our journey. Like every day I go to bed and I go, Sarah, are you better today than you were yesterday? And if the answer is yes, then pat yourself on the back and cut yourself some slack, right? And so that's what I do is every day I'm just one foot in front of the other, just one foot in front of the other, and just celebrating those wins for me, like no matter what it is, because we're not good at celebrating women. We're good at like having that big, huge goal, but not understanding like every single little thing needs to be celebrated because it creates a just huge chain of confidence in all of us, right? So I think for me, I mean, it's definitely the inner game is everything. For me.
Yeah, comparison is the killer. I mean, comparison, especially for us women, when we see another girl and we start looking, it's like, oh, she has a better body than me. She has better hair. She has better nails, better eyelashes, and whatever, and all kinds of stuff, right? And we kind of like, oh, she has more money than me and she's more confident than me. And now we feel so shitty about our own self that it's like we kind of like pushing ourselves in the ground, and it's really hard to dig ourselves out of that mess. So comparing those, yeah, I'm just like you, Sarah. It's like, for me, I just want to be better tomorrow than I was today. And I want to be today better than I was yesterday. And that's all I care about. And the rest world can knock themselves out and stop spinning, and I don't care. Because as long as this girl gets better every single time, that's all that matters. Stefania.
Well, I so agree with everything they said. It's hard. But if I can add something, for me, it was very important to stop to be too emotional. First of all, I'm Italian. So Italians, we get angry or sad and upset very easily. So I had to work a lot on my mindset to control my emotion, to be more patient, not to worry or care what people say or think. And also because I always worked with my heart and I always cared about my team and I cared about their stories and I cared about their lives, it got to a point that I wasn't anymore a servant leader. I was becoming a slave leader because I was trying to drag everybody to their success, but their mindset was not ready yet. So I was there, but they were here and I was trying to talk to them at my level. So I understood that I had to create this movement in my team to really first grow yourself. That's why I love an event like that, because we can really work on people's mindset. Everybody thinks that an event like this, we're going to give you the magic wand, how to make 1,000 recruits in 1 month. That doesn't exist. It's hard work. It's the skills are always there. They are the same. It's all about you and your attitude. And when I changed that, and when I realized that my team had to be more inspired by me and not pushed or dragged, in Italian you say, oh, that person was dead. It's easier to resuscitate. It's easier to recruit somebody new than to resuscitate somebody.
Raise, yeah.
Yeah, raise. Because, I was trying to raise everybody back to life. Because I'm like, how can you not see that? This business is the best. Why are you quitting? So many people in network marketing quit before they even see results. You tell them it's 1 to 5 years, and then they quit after 3 months. They don't answer the phone. And I was like, I need to save everybody. No. We are here to lead by example and to help who wants to be helped. And so it starts here and here. I believe those things, the skills are always the same.
No, I love it. Jesse.
All right, I'm gonna mess you guys up. So sorry. All right, is everyone paying attention? Because I'm gonna make you go into the past for a second here. All right, Dr. Sally's paying attention. Good. So, we can see y'all, so you better be paying attention. This is a good one. So, y'all know how to do this. You go to all these events. You go to all your company's virtual events. You go to GoPro. This is free 99, so I know you're here. You're at all the stuff. But I want you to go back in the past when you were maybe middle school, maybe elementary school, and you felt like you knew the answer to the question. You were so confident. There's a lot of nodding. I knew it. Okay, and you raised your hand, it shot up in the air, and then the teacher called on you. And you answered it all confident, whatever the question was. What's 2 + 2? And you're like, 7! And the teacher's like, no. And I want you to feel it for a second. Because that's shame. You didn't know it was shame because you were a kid. But slowly, over time, people chipped and 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 chipped at the most authentic version of you until you turned into something that you thought you were supposed to be. And now you're trying to get that back. But I got to tell you, it's impossible unless you fix the 6 inches between your ears. If you don't learn to like yourself again before you even attempt to love yourself again, and if you go back to that wounded version of yourself that was so excited and somebody just chipped and chipped and chipped and chipped. This is a safe profession, but some of you are so scared to put yourself out there, whether it's social media or whether it's in person or whether it's talking to your team or whether it's taking a chance on yourself because you're so worried you're going to raise your hand and someone's going to go, no, you're stupid. But as soon as you start to understand that's not how this works, and it's your heart and your mind when they're connected, and you start getting that confidence back where you are stringing together those little pieces of confidence, and that happens by taking chances on yourself and staying true to what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to do something, even if it's a little thing, talk to one prospect, upload one TikTok, upload one photo on Facebook, text a follow-up to one person, you'll start to go, ooh, I did it. That felt good. Ooh, I did it. That felt good. But it's starting up here Because if you can't convince your mind to do something and that you are worthy of this, like somebody was saying over here, you'll never have the life that we have. But it's because we have control over our minds and we're able to differentiate between what is fake and what is real. And we're able to say, okay, you don't like me, that's okay, I love me. I'm not that seventh grader anymore who raised her hand in geography class. Oh, I remember, real clear. That's not me anymore. And you can step into that. So it is the 6 inches between your ears. There's nothing else to it. It's this.
I love what you said. I don't like me. I love me. I love that. Stormy, what about you?
So what is the question?
So I know we've been talking
get so
so much,
involved
but
in what
like
they're
the
saying.
all inner game, you know, it's like a lot of people think that the tactics and skills are in the strategies are important. But what do you think about the importance of the mindset and the importance of the inner game?
I mean, again, I think that here's what we all have to bring to like reality every day. Everybody is going to die one day. Not everybody's going to live, but everybody's going to die one day. And I held my mother's hand on August 26, 2011, until she took her last breath. I did not know my mom was dying. I thought she was having an anxiety attack. After that experience, I didn't know what to do with my pain, my grief. Nobody taught me. I had no idea my mom was going to die. And so after making $1 million my first year, I fell into a depression. I was depressed for 3.5 years. I didn't know myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't embrace myself. So I started to take on the identity of the people that would come around because I had already had success in network marketing. So people believed in me, but I didn't believe in me. And nobody did not know because I didn't wear my disbelief on my sleeves. But this is how you know that you have a little belief issue. Your weight is not where it should be. That's a problem. You find yourself having bad days and you're always talking about, waking up on the wrong side of the bed. Your relationships are not where they should be. Your bank account, if you don't have enough, if you don't have 6 figures, 7 figures, or the desire to make 6 and 7 figures, something is wrong. One of my favorite books is The Science of Getting Rich. And it is abnormal to think that poverty is okay. And I believe in a lot of things that I read, especially when they come from a successful place. And so I just believe that, when you get to a place that you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I realized that nobody was going to change my life but me. Who was going to change my life? Who was going to come into my life and be my knight in shining armor? Nobody. I had to do it for myself. And so personal growth and development was everything. I come from Section 8, food stamps. My mom died as I held her hand. Can you imagine? And so I woke up one day after reading the book of Proverbs every day, after speaking affirmations, after meditating and not knowing what I was doing, after having issues with quiet in my mind. I said, enough is enough. And it was all because of what I learned with personal growth and development. And so until you realize that you are your greatest asset, that whatever you believe is right, that you have to be the one to participate in your own rescue, you keep repeating whatever cycle, especially the cycle that your mom or your peers or your brothers and your sisters, all of us are living in a cycle, but we got to decide, which rhymes with homicide, when is going to be the date that you break the cycle, you decide that enough is enough, that I deserve the best. And that's when you tap into a whole other realm of who you really are, and then you become limitless potential. And that's when you become unfuckwithable, with a P. With a P.
I love it. I love it. Lauren, you've been around the personal development for pretty much your adult life and the young life. So talk to me about the difference between the tactics and the mindset.
Well, there's a couple things that I love. Personal development, somebody talked about today, when you take self-help and it becomes shelf-help, I think Devaney was talking about it was an important thing. But what's so amazing about network marketing is we take all that we learn and we have a vehicle to plug it into, which is amazing. A lot of people just kind of swim around going, okay, where do I go now? What I every day I wake up and I say to myself, today is going to be the best day of my life again. And I declare it. I just decide. We've all had our on our knees moments with regards to that. But, if you got to give yourself premium fuel. If you're giving yourself unleaded fuel in the morning, your car ain't gonna, like if you're running on empty, right? You got to give yourself premium fuel. So every day for me, I say that. Another thing that I've done recently, I haven't shared this with anybody, is I gave everybody the assignment today. I write myself a love letter every day. And I have for the past year. You know, during all of this time, you know, and when you could have focused on something else, I've decided just to write myself a couple lines about what I love about who I am and who I'm becoming. I'm becoming so much more because of these women. This to me has been the most magnificent because they inspire me. And so then every day I remember I'm, as we know, I'm big into affirmations too. I'm loving, I'm honest, I'm compassionate, I'm passionate, I'm kick-ass, I'm full of faith, I'm Tomb Raider type, I'm a sexy salsa dancer, I'm hilarious, right? But, and no one, I think the most important thing I want people to realize, no one can take it away from you unless you give it to them. No one. And the minute you decide, thank you very much, no. And you draw a line in the sand, this is it. Thanks very much for I remember years ago, Bob Proctor, I said, Bob, I don't understand why people aren't excited for me. I said to Bob Proctor, he goes, Lauren, it's not that they're not excited for you. They're afraid you're gonna leave them behind. And you're gonna find people that have you realize, you know, to raise your standards of how you show up in the world. I am inspired. That's what this is about, in spirit with each other. People from all different companies giving each other all of their inside secrets and passion and compassion. Where does that happen in the world? I don't know any other place in the world that happens. And for me, that's everything. So my affirmations, and then I think about for myself, once again, I think we've heard it over and over. You see that golden thread, but it's, who do I need to become? How do I really need to show up in my finances, in my relationships, in my health, in the book surveys, in the skills that I'm learning? Who do I need to become? And so, yeah, I think we could talk about this for hours, but it's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Look in the mirror.
So, Allie, I want to ask you, what was the breaking point in your business? You know, what allowed you to become that badass? And what this business allowed you to create, that amazing profession?
A defining moment for me was when I was in for about a year and a half, sold out. Like, I could scream to the rooftops, I love network marketing, but it wasn't growing as fast as I wanted it to. And I talked about this in my talk today, and I was starting to compare myself to people that were 10 steps ahead of me, and everything started to feel really hard, and my energy was off, okay? And it was to this point where I was living in Minnesota, and I owned a property, and there was renters in there, and it was winter. And if you're in the Midwest, you know what I'm talking about when the snow comes. And I got a text from the renters, and they're like, there's water coming through the house. You have to fix the roof. And I'm like literally 24. I'm like, okay, that requires money that I don't have. And it is just this overwhelm and this anxiety. And I had all those thoughts like, what the hell are you doing, Emily? Like, you're playing around with this network marketing thing. You're not even making a lot of money. Like, go back and get a job. This doesn't work. Like, your Aunt Sally was right, you know? Like, it just crushed me. And I remember I was like literally having an anxiety attack, and I just cried. And that was a moment where I called a friend, and he was a gym owner, and he's like, just come work at my gym. So I'm like, okay, yes. So I start working at this gym, and then I find myself, the hours are going by, I'm commuting to the gym, I'm clocking in, now I'm back to the employee life. And I'm like, I'm trading time for money. And it's almost like you can't unlearn what you learn. Once you get residual income and you understand that you can do something once and it pays you over and over and over again. I was there and all the guys were sweaty in the gym. It was like a sports performance thing, not a bad gig. But, you know, I was like, what am I doing? And I was there all day working for someone else. And then I would get in the car and drive home, and I just didn't have as much energy to go prospect and do all those things. And that was a defining moment for me, because I had an honest conversation. If not this, then what? What does the rest of my life look like? And I'm like, are we going to stop on the 10-yard line? Some of you don't like football. I do. You never do. You get it in the end zone. And I'm like, am I going to stop? Like, I was almost there. And some of you are stopping and you're almost there. But I had that Jesus take the wheel moment. And I had to get so pissed and I was so mad. And I'm like, enough is enough. I don't want to feel like this anymore. So I shifted my energy and I went to work. And going to work, I did a 90-day game plan. And there's going to be seasons of all of our lives. I know we talk about balance and healthy and this and that, and I'm all about that for sure. But there's times where you have to put your foot on the gas pedal. And that's what's required. You got to bring in the class of 2021. So that's what I did. I went to work on a mission with a vision. And I told people my vision. It wasn't about like, oh, there's this products and this comp plan and this has been around for years and the flip chart and this and that. No, I was like, do you want to make money? This is what I'm going to do. Do you want to come with or do you want to be left behind? That was literally my meetings. And I did meeting, and I learned this from Eric. I literally did back-to-back meetings in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I would have one meeting and then the next person was waiting. And the only reason I got all that knowledge is because Eric taught me that in the 90-day game plan. On fire. I'm like, do you want to get enrolled now or after that person? And that was when everything changed. And as a result of all that pain and that action, today I live an amazing life. My front yard is the Pacific Ocean. You know, it's I'm blessed and able to speak and do things and be in arenas that, I mean, sometimes I do have those moments. Last week I had that moment that I was like, okay, I did an interview with Success Magazine. And I'm like, I had this magazine in my office for the last decade. And I'm here now. And I don't say that to make you go, oh, that's so impressive. No, you can do it too. Right. You just have to put your head down.
I love it. And we're going to keep this a last question. So Sarah, if you can keep it in a minute. What was the breakthrough moment for you and what this profession allowed you to do?
So my breakthrough moment, I don't know if it was like a defining moment like Emily, but for me, it was, I wanted this business so badly. And I had to learn how to have relaxed intensity with this business. Because I was white knuckling this business so bad and I wanted it so bad that I was scaring everybody off. And so it was learning how to have that intensity and also at the same time be so welcoming where people felt like they could show up as them and be comfortable and be around an environment that I was, fostering friendships and relationships with and really work on that. And I think that for me was a big thing is I just kind of like released it all. You know what I mean? And so it went from that scarcity mindset where I was holding on everything so tight, right? When you're holding on everything so tight, you leave no room for abundance. So brand new people could never show up in my life because I was holding on to all the rest of the stuff. So once I released it, then guess what? Then just so much stuff just ended up pouring into my life and my team grew.
I love it. Stefania, what about you?
For me, I guess when the bank came and took my home and then a few days later took my car, and my kids were crying. We were sleeping in one bed. And I wasn't under the bridges. My parents helped me, so I'm not gonna, say that I didn't have food. But it was quite humbling where people also were bringing from church, they were bringing food at home. And I remember crying myself to sleep, feeling sorry for myself. But then I remember saying, Lord, help me. And if you will, I will always give you glory. And I'm gonna do this for the kids. And I'm going to do this and I'm going to change my life. And I remember that I turned that pain, and I had so much pain because there was shame and people talking. My ex-husband was known in Portugal. So we had, when I dropped the kids to school, they said that I became anorexic and I abandoned the kids because I was working. So there was a lot of gossiping going on. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to turn all of this distraction, I'm going to turn all this pain into power, and I'm going to change my life. And I took over. I did the 90-day run as well. The 90-day run, my first 90-day run was crazy. I had blisters out of my hands because I was carrying the luggage, because I always have to, have different shoes and dresses. And I could tell you crazy stories. But just like Emily, I was showing the plan over and over again. It got to the point that I didn't even know if I already said the joke before or after, because I did it so many times that I was like, okay, did I already say that? But it didn't matter. And my vision, my energy, people didn't know where we were going, but people thought I knew where I was going. Because the way I said it and the way I believed it, they believed me. And that's it. And I just went and look, it's all about hard work anyway. We know it's called network marketing. So you need to work. And I worked for a year and a half. And I also then made my $82,000. That was my first big check, $82,000 in 1 month. And then the rest is history.
I love it. So, Jessie.
So if you're frustrated, I hope you're realizing good. Okay. Like, I haven't had one breakthrough. I have breakthroughs every single time I'm about to level up.
Yep.
So I can go back to 10 years ago, and I can go back to 8 years ago, and I can go back to probably 7.5 years ago, and I can go back to 6 years ago and 5 years ago, definitely 4 years ago. I can go back to like 3 months ago. I just get pissed sometimes. Mm-hmm. And if you're feeling pissed and frustrated, good on ya. Like, you should get mad. I was getting so frustrated. And I'll take you back to the one 10 years ago, because that might be where a lot of you are right now. And I don't know your situation. But me, I was quite frankly relying way too much on men instead of, or a man, my partner at the time, right? I was relying on this man thinking like he's supposed to, like, I didn't think he was going to save me, whatever. But like, there was still that thing where I'm like, oh, it's gonna be this partnership. And so as much as like I admire and love Elena and obviously Marina, oh my God, like queen, goddess, like I don't relate in many ways. I needed to save myself 10 years ago. There's no man that, like, I'll fall back on a man. No man's falling back on me, okay? Like I can't catch you. I'm not interested. I'm ready to fly. I'm the eagle. I'm the lion. I'm the aggressive animal. Like, I'm not here for it. That's not my role in that. And it's okay if you want to be the dominant. I am the masculine energy in business. I am soft in my relationship. Right? That's the way my roles are. And 10 years ago, I had to get out of this toxic relationship. It was not serving me. I was floundering around making maybe $1,500 a month. My rent was $400 a month in this little apartment thing over a garage in West Virginia. Like, I'm like, this is terrible. This is not fitting into my vision of where my life is going to go. What in the hell, man? And I did the most. I got in my car. I drove over the border to Maryland. I looked at this luxury apartment, and it was $1,600 a month. And I went, oh my God. Because I had quit my job because I was like, I'm so cool. I'm making $1,500 a month in this direct sales network marketing thing. Woo! Oh, geez. All right. And so I quit job way too early. And I said, I have to do it. I have to get that apartment. I've got to get uncomfortable. I am not uncomfortable enough. And so I had to come up with, in a week, first month's rent, last month's rent, and security deposit. Y'all already know how it works, right? They didn't trust me with my little no money self. And I promise you, I went from $1,500, I will find the receipts, okay? I went from $1,500 that month. I made almost $10,000 the next month. I went psycho. Psycho. Put in the work, get mad, get angry, get upset at your life. It's okay to feel emotions about it, but don't just sit there and wallow in it. Get to work. You can do this. Everyone is, I'll go on and on all night long. Do the work, get mad and do the work.
Get mad and do the work.
Stormy, what was the breakthrough moment for you, and what this profession allowed you to do now?
So, I mean, everybody, we all have breakthrough after breakthrough, but I have to say my defining breakthrough was at the Most Powerful Women in Network Marketing. I sat there and I listened to you, and I listened to Denny, and I listened to, I think you maybe was there that year, and I'm looking at these women, and I started to see my team in the women. However, I got comfortable too fast, too soon. I mean, my goal was to make an extra $500 to $1,000 a month in network marketing. So once that got accomplished, it's like, oh, okay, there comes another goal. And so I got comfortable at $50,000 a week. I'm grateful for that, but what if I would have stayed there? When I got to that event and I heard about, I think her check that month was $400,000 or $300,000 in this person, and I was like, no, No, if her check was 300,000, her check was 250, and my check was only 220, no, that means I could make $1 million a month. No disrespect to anybody, but I let other people's success inspire me to want to go higher. And at that event, I made up in my mind that I was gonna make good with the people in my organization that I had pissed off, that I turned off. And sometimes you get too much money too quick, too fast, too soon, you get cocky. You forget who you are. You forget to pray that you pray to God, because I told God, listen, if you help me to help the people, I won't forget the people. But I have forgot the people. And so some of you all that's watching right now, you may be making $500 a week or $500 a month, or you may have already accomplished your goal, but you can't forget about the other people that are counting on you. And what I did, I went home and I went on a 90-day run. I built my businesses on 90-day runs. I relaunched. What you lack in skill, you make up in numbers. I did a launch call. Let me tell you one trick. This is a trick. I find in my organization that the people that recruit 100 people in like 30 days, and I know that sounds like a lot, but just set your goal to recruit. Go crazy. Call everybody in your phone. Get with your upliner. Get with a sideline, and decide to launch your business. Decide after this badass weekend that you are going to relaunch your business, because there are more people that need to know about you and they need to know about your business, and now is the time.
I love it. Lauren, to close this session.
Whew, my goodness, that's a big responsibility to close this session. When everybody was talking, I realized why I said yes to this profession. I didn't realize it until right now we were sitting around here. My dad was one of the hardest working people I ever met. It was all about contribution, all about taking care of us. He was an optometrist. And my dad wanted to be in network marketing. That's all he wanted. He wanted to go out there and really help people live their dreams. And he didn't have the self-belief in himself. And I didn't, and I remember, it's interesting because you were talking about being there with your mom, and I remember being there with my dad when he passed away on Mother's Day. I'm like, really, Dad? You couldn't have picked any other day? And I remember saying, I'm gonna do this for us. Together, you're gonna be there and we're gonna help lots of people. And it was, for me, the big thing was, I was tired of the excuses of why I couldn't do it. And you know what? And I've got another level. These ladies are definitely helping me level up. I only know that I've got a lot more of it, and I'm just being dead honest here. I know that that I've used just a small percentage of what's in me. So for me, and what this is all about is it ain't no dress rehearsal, everybody, as we all know. And for me, it's all excuses are equal. All distractions are equal. We do our priorities. So you got to look at your life, and you got to look at what really is a priority for you. Yeah. For me, it was, stepping up at the Most Powerful Women event and deciding that I was going to do a mission trip and to take my son to Vietnam and help thousands and thousands of people show up. I mean, it's about stepping up. You have to step up. You have to step up for you. And then, you know what? And you have to be your best distributor partner, however you want to do it. If like we said, you got to watch the feet, not the lips. And Marina, I just want to say something on behalf of all of us. You and Eric have given us all such a huge opportunity through this, through these events. I mean, the courage, the faith that you have, the way that you serve.
Yes.
It's, if everybody knew what, how much she's mastermind to think about how can I give these people this experience. Please don't take this lightly. And I think too many people go, yeah, it was great. So we want to give you a gift.
Oh, bless
We want to give you a gift. We want to give you a gift for all that you've put in. And we've decided.
Yeah, backstage.
We decided.
Come on now, y'all.
We decided
In the chat,
backstage.
Look at the chats going.
Come
for
on, we're
Marina.
coming in close.
Yeah.
We're coming in.
Stand up. Just stand.
We decided, first of all, can we please give a huge ovation to Marina so far for all that she's created? So here's the deal.
Oh, my girls.
You got to look in the mirror. You got to look in the mirror. And if you're not where you want to go, you are who you surround yourself with. You got to look and you got to look in the mirror. You got to decide, am I really where I want to go? And you got to take that step into the unknown, you guys. You're going to have to take this opportunity to just go, it's time for me to step up. It's time for me to level up. And we want to give you a gift, the gift that's been given to us with these friendships. And that is we learn from each other here. And so for all of you who've signed up to be a part of this amazing program that's happening, we've decided to give a day of mastermind to those people.
All of us together.
All of us together.
Individual tactics as to what we did specifically to get to the next level in our network marketing profession. Tactics, mindset, and tactics.
You'll get an hour from each of us. So if you're signing up for that, you're going to get an hour of Lauren, an hour of Stormy, hour of Jessie Lee, hour of Savannah.
Who's joining us?
An hour of
wow.
Are you committed?
Free bonus.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's
Bonus.
like, don't you have the
price
most
tag on it.
amazing?
And you know, I think that Emily started it. Emily started something. She said, if not now, then when? If not you, then who? Right. And if not this, then what? You have an army that's here to support you. We want to see you win. It doesn't matter what company you're with. We are here to help you win. You got to put your hands up. You got to be courageous. Let's do this. Let's do this. So
Make
thank
the
you.
commitment.
Oh, thank you so much, girls. And you know what? It's like, I know the guys want to take a picture, but but I wanted to tell you, you are the average of people that you're spending the time with. And we say the average of 5. I have actually the average of 6 right now. So, and the average of all the amazing women that was on this stage yesterday, today, and they're going to be here tomorrow. So you are who you surround with, and all these girls, I did not know about this, so it made me emotional. But, this is the power. This is what I wanted to create. With this event, I wanted to create the movement. I wanted to create not just an event, not just a webinar or Zoom call or whatever. I wanted to create a movement of badass women supporting each other and celebrating each other on their way to success, giving ourselves some love and inspiration, and sometimes a loving kick in the butt, and sometimes being that strong shoulder, because we all have our weak moments, and we all have the moments when we don't believe in ourselves and when we need that stronger shoulder. So you girls been my strong shoulder today, so thank you so much. I love you.
We love you.